Okay, so I don't know if anyone's actually gonna watch this, but just for some, documenting the testing of this game, I am going to be just playing it on stream while I test the first 200,000 buttons. Um, if you somehow stumbled upon this video, this game is 1 million buttons, as it says here. The premise is there are 1 million buttons, and one button is correct. The correct button is randomly chosen, and there are no hints. So that's the whole game. So far, there are not 1 million buttons. There are about 200,000 buttons in the current build. It is still very much an in development game. But it's coming along. So I need to basically test the game thoroughly to make sure every single button is clickable, make sure the game can be completed. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Because the worst thing that could possibly happen is I release this game and someone clicks 999 buttons and can't get the last one, and the last one is the correct button. That would be, just an incredible bad luck for that person. But yeah, so I'm just going to play and click all the buttons. And yeah, so this is the first room I made, and it's gone through a few revisions. There are 1 million buttons. Only one button is correct. Some of these things I am probably going to rethink. I think those text boxes that pop up, I'm going to rethink. I think this music might be a little bit loud. I might turn the game volume down a little bit. So yeah, as you're clicking, you'll get, as you've probably noticed, a little bit of music. Good luck. And the music tries to keep up with your 69 buttons, nice. The music tries to kind of match the tempo that you're clicking buttons. But it doesn't really have any variety right now. This was kind of a later edition. I kind of implemented it so that I could randomly generate some music for my trailer, and then I liked it. I feel like it has a good effect on the game where, I want to keep clicking buttons so I keep the music going. So I decided to leave it in. I'm probably going to refine it more as the game goes. Let's see. I'm also going to check over here like this. Because I'm not used to doing all the streaming stuff. You in live control room. How are we doing? Okay, so the stream is up. It is going. Yeah. Wasn't sure if this OBS kind of implemented some chat connectivity. That's interesting. So Anyway, so that's one wall, and that is 161 out of 200,000 buttons in this build. I've done the math, and based on my typical clicking speed, it would take over 160 hours to click 1,000,000 buttons. Now, theoretically, you won't be so unlucky you have to click all 1,000,000 buttons to find the correct button. But you know, it's a possibility. But with that math, that's what, like, divide that by 5. It is over 30 hours, probably, it'll take me to click. So, yeah. It's 20% of 60, 10% is 16 times 2 is 32, so yeah, 32 hours, maybe, probably longer, to click all of the buttons in this build. I have to click all the buttons. I also, okay, so I implemented this one mechanic in where if you just like are mashing the click button, it'll go into tilt, and you won't be able to click for a second. I did this because I didn't want people to do like a script to just like auto click, so that they just have to like zoop, 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 and then it clicks all the buttons. Because I can do that in testing, and I don't want the players to do that because I want the players to suffer. I'm withholding that power. If everyone has the power, nobody has the power, or whatever, however that saying goes. But I also kind of didn't want people to like get strained by like mashing the button and then it, like it hurts their finger because you're gonna be clicking a lot. I don't know. So I did this, and I tested the game at a convention like recently, last week I guess. I don't know. The time flies by. Time doesn't make sense. And people didn't like that. Well, number one, people didn't like it because they wanted to click randomly and they didn't like being punished for it. And number two, nobody understood that it was a pinball reference. So, yeah, I'll probably take that out. So that is all 4 walls. You have probably noticed, I mean, unless you haven't been looking at the screen, that, you know, usually the cursor is like in the middle, and you can do this, but sometimes I unlock the cursor, and I can move the cursor wherever I want on the screen. Yeah, you can just do that by hitting right click. I basically just stole that from Power Wash Simulator. It's just a nice little quality of life thing I really liked in that game. So that the camera isn't like swinging around constantly. And also, you know, like when you look up, it can be hard to like get the exact angle, because like, okay, I want to aim at that one, but I go right and I just turn, so I have to like go right and down a little bit. But you know, if I right click, I can just click on any button. Yeah, I mean the entire game is just clicking buttons, so I wanted to make the button clicking experience as streamlined as possible. Game is on, like, the game is on Steam, but the page is up on Steam. You know, you can wishlist it. That would be awesome. It was funny when I was making like the Steam page. It was like, yeah, what genre is your game? And I'm like, I don't know. Is it a puzzle game? Is it an adventure game? I wasn't really sure what to say. Is it a clicker game? Because, like, technically, in a very literal sense, it is a clicker game in the same sense that, like, QWOP and Baby Steps are walking sims, but they don't really, you know, have the spirit of, you know, what people expect when you say a walking sim. This isn't what people expect when you get a clicker game. They think, I want a clicker game, I'm going to get a game where I click until I eventually don't have to click anymore. But that's not what this game is. This is a game where you actually have to click. This is Cookie Clicker if you had to click every cookie. You might say, Kevin, why would you make this game? The answer to that is, I don't really know. I was possessed by something to just make the most absurd game I could imagine. Yeah, with the music, like, right now it's just the one drum loop and then the one bass line, and they are like sort of randomly generated. It randomly chooses the notes. Oh wait, here we go. Hooray! Okay, so you get like a different sound after you click the final button in the room. So I've clicked 1,086 buttons. It took me 10 minutes to do that. So yeah, that is about the pace that I sort of judged. I can click about 1,000 buttons in 10 minutes, and that will probably go down as the rooms get more complex and, you know, less easy to click buttons in. Yeah, but I was talking about like the music that is randomly generated. I'm going to probably add more drum loops, like that it randomly chooses between, more bass lines, probably different samples so that it changes the sound of like both the music and also your clicks. So that's something that I will do more on. Let's see. I'm gonna go post this somewhere. maybe people will show up. Anyway, so let's see. This was the first room. Let me get my bearings. This way. So that was like, this was the first room I made, and then I sort of... I'll try to like do these rooms generally vaguely in the order that I made them, so you can kind of see my thought process evolving. One thing you'll notice here immediately is that like this door is sticking way out. It's not flush with the wall, and like it looks very awkward here. That like the buttons are not correctly aligned with the door. And this is something that I kind of you know, figured out better ways. Like this one is more flush with the door. Let's see, over here is one that is much more flush with the door and with the buttons. Like I figured out how to get it nicer as I went, because like I added in this door and this hallway much later. This goes to a much later room that I made, but this was like the second room I made. Yeah. For why I am testing this on stream and not just on my own time. It's because I kind of, you know, imagine that this is a big way the game will be experienced, as sort of a multitasking game. Streamers, of course, would be, you know, the big thing. Like, you know, streamers play the game, people see the game, so that's, as an indie developer, that is kind of one of the only ways that you get people to notice your games these days. Like, if you don't have a marketing budget, you just kind of hope some streamer picks it up. But also, you know, people just hanging out on Discord, chatting while playing this game. Another thing I should note is that I have an ultra wide monitor, which means that this is the edge of the screen on the stream, but like my screen goes way past that. So it doesn't really matter in this game because there is no HUD. That is, you know, a design goal, that I didn't want to have a HUD. I originally did have these numbers on the HUD, you know, how many buttons you've pressed and how much time has elapsed. I had those on the HUD somewhere, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to put these, like, I'll just have like one of these blue screens in every room, and the blue screen will communicate some sort of information. So like not some sort of, the blue screen will communicate all the information you need to know. So it's, you know, you've got the, you know, how many buttons you've clicked, how much time has elapsed. If you've clicked all the buttons in the room, it'll have a green border. If you have found the button, it will alternate between the current number of buttons and the current time, and it'll go back and forth and show what time it was when you got the button and how many buttons you've clicked when you got the button. So like you will have that information saved. Oh yeah, you can fly. It's like, I don't want to bother with like designing rooms so that you can't get stuck. So I'm just, you know what, you can fly, whatever. I might limit the flying though, that like you can only fly for like 3 seconds and then you fall back down until you land. Because when I was testing, what some people were doing was like trying to fly up and like instead of getting a good angle to click a button that's high up, or like figuring out the secret of the room that lets them kind of get up there easier. A lot of people were trying to like hover and be like, oh, I gotta get the button by like flying back and forth, and I don't know. So I might change that a little bit. This game has been in development since, what, June? So June, July, August, September, October, November, so 6 months. And it hasn't been like a full, like a full-time job. I guess it is, in some sense, sort of a puzzle game, because it's not so much a puzzle of how you find the button or how you do the room, but it is sort of a puzzle of, like, figuring out the most efficient way to tackle each, like, sequence of buttons, or each pattern. Another thing you'll notice in this room probably is like that the grid is kind of uneven. So like this gap is bigger than this gap, and like this gap is bigger than this gap. And this is definitely a case of me like still figuring out the best way to build these rooms and to place the buttons. So I kind of, it took me like I think 4 months to get the first 100,000, and then it took me like another month to get the second 100,000. So yeah, I've been figuring out ways to do it so that it looks better, and so that it's also faster for me to make. Because that is like a thing, is that you might hear this concept and be like, a million buttons. Okay, so you just procedurally generate a whole game. And it's like, no, I'm not doing procedural generation. This is, I am making this whole game by hand. I'm making all the rooms by hand, and like, you know, it is, sometimes I'll make tools that kind of do it a little bit faster, or I'll do a healthy dose of copying and pasting, like, oh, I made this pattern. So I'm just going to copy and paste the pattern over and over, like, I don't know, I forgot where this goes. Oh yeah, so this is like a much later room I made, and you can see that it looks much nicer, it's much cleaner. The doors are flush with the wall, the way that the pattern kind of intersects with the door is much more satisfying. But yeah, we'll get here later. Also never been a mouse guy. I'm not a PC gamer by, I'll play games on PC, but I've always been a console gamer first. I kind of have a good PC so that I can play games and so that I can make games. But it's always been like, I don't know. I play on gamepad when I can. I'm very hesitant to do mouse gaming, because mouse gaming feels like something that's work for me. But this game, I mean not mouse, the mouse and keyboard feel like work devices to me. They are devices to do work, to make games, and they are good at the thing that they are good at, but they don't feel fun as gaming devices for me. So like shooters, I haven't really gotten into like PC shooters because I just don't like using mouse and keyboard. But it's like if you're not using mouse and keyboard, you're at a huge disadvantage. So sometimes I'll go out of my way and do gyro aiming, but that can be a pain in the ass to set up. But yeah, like this game is, I would probably add gamepad support, but it is kind of a case of like, yeah, this kind of has to, I have to design it around the mouse and keyboard first, because it's just such a pointy and clicky game. Oh, hey Bravo. So if you right click, it will switch between the fixed camera and cursor, or moving around normally, and you can like click normally like this, but I just I like doing it like this because it doesn't move the camera around as much. Easier on the eyes for me. Also, I'm better at clicking this way. But it is definitely a case of like, some people have, like when I was testing the game, some people have just preferred to do it this way, and like even after I showed them that you could freeze the view. Yeah, so I do like having that option. Also, I just want to double check. You can hear me, right? So I've been like yapping away at myself, and it hasn't even been picking up the recording. Okay, good. How's the volume? Is the game too loud? I'm looking at the thing. Like, I turned the game down a bit earlier. And it doesn't seem... The bars look good to me, but those can be deceiving. Okay, cool. Yeah, no clicking and holding. It's, like, I kind of wanted the game to be about the individual clicks. The kind of, like, I don't know. Like, there would definitely be an appeal to a version where you just go zoop, 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 and you've clicked this whole wall. And I know that because, you know, I do that in testing mode. But, I don't know. I don't think anybody's made a game like this before where you just, like, literally have to individually click. Like, I wanted to intentionally go against what you would expect from this game. Because you would expect this game to be... Hooray! Okay, I've completed this room. You would expect this game to be like a clicker game where you get upgrades to make the clicking faster and more efficient, and it is not that. And maybe this will be like not a game that anyone wants to play, and that's understandable, but you know, I just wanted to make something interesting and unique. Like this room is interesting and unique because there aren't many buttons in this room and it just looks like a black void. And it's kind of mysterious, but if... Go ahead and click all of these. And you will... Yeah, so it is, like... If it was just clicking and holding, it would, yeah, basically be like a power wash simulator kind of thing. So I've, like, walked back until I stopped moving, and I, like, look to the left, and oh, there's a button. But I didn't get the noise, so there's probably more buttons. Yeah, and I love Power Wash Simulator. So that is... I do feel like there is some of that in this game. But I don't know. I didn't want to do the exact same thing. So yeah, that is 3 rooms down. I think I'm gonna aim to get so I have 100 rooms in this, no, almost 100, 95 rooms in this build. I'm going to do at least 10 today, I think. We'll see how long that'll take. So there are 200,000 buttons in this build and about 95 rooms. I'm testing it to make sure like they can actually all be clicked. And yeah, that's so it'll probably take about over 30 hours total to actually test all of the buttons in this build. So this will be a number of streams. How are you doing, Bravo? How's your day going? Color options, so that is something I've thought about. Like maybe you upgrade, and maybe you unlock like color palettes. The thing is, I just want it to be like completely unambiguously clear when you find the button. Because one button is going to be different. And so if I play around with the colors and it's like, oh, there's going to be like, buttons that aren't pink, and then you like find a button that isn't pink, you're like, is this the correct button? Or, you know, it's very, I don't know. So just having like all of the wrong buttons are pink and then the correct button does something different, there's no question that you have found the correct button. So I don't want there to be any confusion, but I can also understand that looking at just the glowy pink could get very samey, very tiring to look at. Oh yeah, it's the Audica. I haven't really played much Audica in a while, but that's cool that people are still that you guys are still working on custom maps. It's such a good game. It's a shame it wasn't like a bigger success, and now it's pretty much abandoned by the devs. We won't get Nautica 2. But I don't know. At least we got Audica. It's real good, and we got the guy who's making custom maps. I should come back and try some of the custom maps. Problem is, I feel like the guy, like you guys who are still playing the game and still making custom maps are probably like your skill level is on another level from me. It's like sometimes I would play those custom maps and just be like, yeah, I can't do this one. So it's the kind of thing where like when a game's been out for 5 years and the community who's still playing it is very small and very dedicated, it's hard to kind of get into it or go back to it because you're just not on the same level. So, but I'm sure you guys, I know you guys like do difficulty levels and stuff, so maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking. Right, another room. Yeah, so that is one option, is like like having a like maybe as you go you unlock new color palettes, so that like, you know, maybe like every color palette you just get to choose the one that you like. So that is one option that I could do. I've thought about. So maybe I'll do that. It's just there's like so many, I don't know. It's like on the list of things I might do. But there is sort of, I have this sort of, I don't know, reluctance to doing too many options in games. Like I do want to give people options to experience the games the way they want to, but there's also this level of like, I also want the game to be my vision, and this is kind of what I want the game to look like, so I don't know. It is it is something that I am tossing around in my head that I might do. So but I think games are definitely like a very I don't know, you gotta find this balance with the audience between like what the audience wants and what your vision is. Like, okay, so like I'm playing Kirby Air Riders, and I think it's interesting how Sakurai like so stubbornly stuck to this one button control scheme thing. because there are a lot of actions in that game, and it would have very much made sense to have more buttons, or at least an option to do more buttons. Like your primary attack, if you don't have an item or an ability, is just like wiggling the analog stick back and forth, and then you spin around and bump into whatever and do damage. And that is, like, sometimes I do it accidentally, and I'm not sure if I love that that's the only option. Like, it would have been nice to be able to map that to a button, but on the other hand, like, that was his vision, as a part of the game, is just like one button, or one analog stick, and most of your actions are on one button, and a few special actions are on the second button. Yeah, so but yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case where it's like, we can definitely make the argument of maybe it would be a smoother experience if there were more buttons, but I don't know, like, that was his vision. So, yeah. And there is some level of, like, I can respect a developer who kind of sticks to their vision, even if there's maybe a way people would have liked it more. But on the same on the same note, it's like, it's annoying when a game doesn't do something that I want it to do, that I feel like it would have been fairly easy to implement. I rented the original, and I only sort of remember it. Like, I thought it was interesting, and there just wasn't a whole lot to do. I think it was the first time Sakurai did the whole checklist that he's become known for ever since. So that kind of stuck with me, but the game itself, like, I don't even remember if the, like, wiggling to spin and attack was in the original. But it was interesting to see the game, like, go from like, ooh, yep, there's buttons on basically everything. This is like the 4th room that I made, I think. So, like, you'll see how they evolve. But yeah, it was interesting to see, like, Kirby Air Ride sort of go from this, I don't know, when it came out it was like a joke of a game, like, oh, this game's dumb, it's only one button, you can win by just setting the controller down, to sort of being this, like, legendary niche cult classic because of the city trial mode. Yeah, once you find the button, you can continue pressing. It is, I don't want to, like, spoil exactly what happens, but it's kind of intentionally a little bit anticlimactic. It's very clear that you found the button, but it is, you know, it doesn't, like, stop the game and roll credits. It's just like, yep, you found the button. Do you want to keep playing, or do you want to be like, okay, I'm good with that, I'm done? And you can keep clicking, or you can close the game. And this room's a bit special because if you walk through the center of the room, you fall down. So I wanted to play with the little, I don't know, the art style where you can't really see the edges of the room. I was playing around with that a lot in, like, these earlier rooms. I haven't done that as much in later rooms. yeah, I'm at like... So there's like 95 rooms in this build. I get more and more... I don't know if creative is the word. Less discerning about which ideas go and like, become rooms. It's like, well, I have an idea. Is that a good idea? I don't know. Let's make the room anyway. But yeah, they definitely... Like in these early rooms, I was very... Like, a lot of them were sticking to the grid. And then later on, I get much more... I don't know, start putting buttons in more... interesting patterns, I guess. And I still got like a bunch of ideas for like how to like other types of rooms I can do, like other tools I can use to make rooms interesting, but I'm kind of like seeing what I can do with what I've got right now before I start doing more. And hooray. So where are we at? 4,000 buttons and 43. It's honestly remarkable how the 1,000 buttons in 10 minutes is pretty consistent so far. How long? So this is my first time like actually properly testing the game and trying to find the button legit. There are only 200,000 buttons in this build. It will probably take me 30 hours to click all of them. Over 30 hours to click all of them. So like I guess statistically it would take about 15 hours on average to find the button. But you know, it could be this button. It could be right now. Boom. That could have been it and found it. But it might be the last one. It might take the full 30 hours. So it's really, literally every button has the same chance to be the button. I had this game up at a convention the other day, and it was up all day. Ran from like 9 to 6. So that's what, 9 hours? And nobody found the button. Like it was, yeah. So it might take a really long time. It might take a very short time. My hope is that, you know, if people actually play the game and are interested in it, that they get something out of it, even if they don't find the button. Like, just, you know, I had fun. I have fun clicking on the buttons. I had fun looking for the buttons. I'm not gonna put in the whole, because like I did like some math. It would take over 160 hours to actually click 1 million buttons at my pace, of about 1,000 buttons in 10 minutes. So, like, I can definitely understand if someone gets like 10 hours into the game, is like, I'm good. But I hope, you know, if someone does that, I hope they get something out of the game. Just like, oh, look at the pretty patterns. Clicking on the button feels good. You know, I got something out of the game. So, it's very, like, just playing it legit, because I haven't really played it legit much without using my dev cheats. But it is a very, I don't know. I compared it to Power Wash Simulator earlier, and I do kind of get some of that same, like, oh, just one more button, just one more button, you know, just one more wall, just one more room. This, like, satisfaction of, I have clicked every button in the room, I've clicked every button on this wall, I can progress. Let's see. I would be interested if, like, speedrunners try to play this game. Oh. Yeah, that is sort of what I was thinking. Like, if you put a lot of time into this game and you find the button, you might just reach the point where you're like, you know what, I just like clicking the buttons. I don't care if I found the button, I just want to keep clicking the buttons. I just want to see, you know, what other rooms there are, because I tried to, I don't know, I wanted, you know, the journey to be interesting, of, like, just seeing what's in the next room. So yeah, it's sort of, if you don't find the button, you get tired of it, I want there to be, like, you got something out of the game, but also, if you do find the button, you probably enjoyed just, like, the moment-to-moment experience enough that maybe you want to keep clicking the buttons. Now, is that Stockholm Syndrome, or I don't know, or a is this it? Oh, geez. What is it? A sunk cost fallacy? Should be this one. There we go. Yeah, so it auto-saves every time you enter a new room, or every 100 buttons. Or I think I also set it up to auto-save when you have clicked all of the buttons in a room. I think you guys actually can't see it because it's cut off. So, like, I'm on an ultra-wide monitor, so, like, this is the edge of the screen for you, but mine goes a little bit further. But, like, a little square appears in the corner of the screen when it auto-saves. But yeah, you will, like, in theory, never lose more than 100 buttons of progress. But that is definitely a thing about, like, I need to make sure the saving works. So that is a big part of why I am testing. I need a better computer share. I feel like I'm just, like, slowly leaning forward and, like, adopting bad posture. And then I'm like, oh, bad posture, need to sit up. Going to start, like, oh, let's see. Oh, no, I was going to start doing these streams a couple weeks ago, but then like YouTube was down on the day that I was trying to do it, so then I had to put it off. And then other stuff came up, and I actually haven't really worked on the game in a couple of weeks. So I need to like get back into that. But I also like don't want to burn myself out, you know. So I am only 20% done on, you know, the content of the game. I have to finish the content, but then there's all the other stuff I gotta do. Okay, we're definitely slowing down from the 1,010 minutes. Okay. I'm like gripping the mouse too hard and my hand's getting kind of a little bit cramped already. It's only been an hour. I don't know. I was saying earlier, as part of my rambling, I'm not usually a mouse person. I'm not usually like a mouse and keyboard gamer. I usually try to play games with a gamepad, but this has gotten me more used to using the mouse for game stuff, because I feel like this game needs to be designed around mouse first. And then I'll probably add gamepad support later. Not yet. I will probably add controller support so that, you know, there can be console ports, and so it, you know, does well on Steam Deck. Because I feel like this would be a good Steam Deck game. I feel like this would be a good Steam Deck game, and it would be a good Switch game. As just sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna play this game while I do other stuff. Yeah, I've been playing Power Wash Simulator 2 on the Switch 2, and it doesn't have gyro aiming. So it is not as fun. I actually haven't been playing Power Wash Simulator 2 because my save got messed up and I lost 20 hours of progress, so I've been waiting for them to fix that bug. But like, what I would like to do with this game as far as like console stuff goes is I would like to have good gyro support, and I would like to have good touchscreen support so that you can actually just like touch the screen, touch the buttons. I actually realized that like that actually works. If you go into aim mode and you are playing on a touchscreen device and you tap the screen, it actually does like touch the buttons. So I want to like support that officially. Yeah, like, so I think Steam Deck Verified is usually a good thing to have on your Steam page. So I don't know, I went through several iterations with Age of Advent to get it Steam Deck Verified, and it works with gamepad stuff, and I did a lot of the stuff they wanted, but then like they came back and they found other things that were issues, and I was just like, it's good, whatever, man. I'm not making money on this game, so. But like, if I'm actually selling a game, I think making it Steam Deck Verified will be good. So having good gamepad support, having good yeah, just, like, having good gamepad support and just generally making it feel good on the Steam Deck will be good, and then that'll also set it up to be a good console game. Also, would love to do a VR version, but nobody really. That's not a very good place to make money at this point. Yeah, and I've tried to keep the game like really low spec, so it should run on like potatoes. So I bet it wouldn't be so hard to get it like running on the standalone headsets as a VR thing. I think the art style might be a bit weird for VR. So I don't know. It would definitely take some a little bit of work, I think. Yeah, I think it could be like, if I don't know, if I could do some way that like you could switch between VR mode and 2D mode. Like, it could be just like, oh, I'm in a VR mood today. You know what? I'm not in a VR mood today. But it could definitely, because, I mean, going back to Power Wash Simulator yet again, they did a VR version of that, and it was great. But that's also a great example of how, like, you know, that game is very, very popular and feels like it was basically made for VR. And even that, like, after a few months, they were like, okay, we are cutting support for the VR version because it's just like, it's just not doing well enough to continue supporting it. So yeah, if there is a VR version, that would definitely be a I don't know, my own indulgent thing. We got 6,000, not even 10,000 yet. Actually doesn't sound bad. It just kind of, it's like, feels like a xylophone. It's like, release date, when it's done, probably sometime next year. It will probably take me, God, at least 8 more months to actually finish all the content. Like, finish actually making 1 million buttons. I don't know, maybe even 2027. So I don't really have a day nailed down, so. Oh, this is like streaming and talking. Like sometimes, you know, I'd watch streamers and be like, why are they so tired after only streaming for a couple hours? Like they're just playing video games, right? This is actually kind of like it uses the brain power and the voice power. So I have a lot of respect for any streamer who's done like those marathon streams. So this whole area was kind of like, there is a, like you might notice that this room is identical to the one I was just in. So it's like a square of these same rooms. And so kind of the whole thing about this area is that like they all have these doors that like go into these hallways that like intersect. So you'll notice, like, keep in mind where that hallway was. Like I go over here, and go down here, and oh, like this hall, like there should be a hallway going like cutting through this one. So this was like, I don't know, a whole gimmick that I wanted to do early on of, oh, this whole area has like this whole non-Euclidean geometry gimmick. And that is kind of quaint compared to stuff that I started doing later, because I eventually, like, essentially what's going on here is that like those rooms in the middle just aren't being loaded depending on like which room I'm coming from. And so it was kind of interesting because like the way I originally had it you could actually look through doors and see into the next room, but that caused issues, so I kind of reworked that. So this whole area is less interesting now because I removed that, and also because I do much more interesting stuff with the whole non-Euclidean geometry idea later on. Alright. Bleh. I kind of zoned out. Forgot I was like streaming for a bit. Have a nice night, Bravo. Or day, or wherever you are. I gotta say, this game is very easy to like just zone out and lose track of time. I'm a bit worried that I may have created something dangerous. All right, 7,000. My goal was to get to 20,000 today, but I don't know. I'll finish this area. which I think should put me over 10,000 buttons. Oh, did we meet at GGX? Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope to bring it to more shows and kind of definitely taking in some feedback I got from that show. People really didn't like the tilt mechanic, so I'm probably gonna take that out. But yeah, it was good to like get feedback from people, so that people actually do like. There is some interest in this very strange concept, which I would totally understand if there wasn't. But you know, it's good that it isn't like completely. I don't know. So definitely were people were like who were just looked at me like I was crazy as I was explaining it. It's like, yeah, you make that game, I guess. What? I don't know why you're making that game, but then there were people who sat down and were just like, must press the buttons. I must press the buttons. So. It is, it is good to see that the game, like, gets reactions. Even if it is sort of split between I get it and I don't get it. I think GGX was definitely kind of a smaller sample size. Oh, hey, Finley. I also got a suggestion that I hadn't even considered, which is that someone wanted an option to be able to like unclick buttons so that they could like make art on the walls. So I haven't gotten around to adding that, but that was definitely like I get a lot of suggestions that are like, well, I feel like that kind of misses the point of the game. But then no, but then I do get some like suggestions where I'm like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. Yeah, sort of. This is generally the same build. I fixed a couple of bugs. I hope I fixed the bug where the time wasn't saving. I fixed another room that didn't have a door. But yeah, this is its own kind of testing build, so I can continue working on the game, and it shouldn't, like, my saves shouldn't interfere with this, so I can just like keep on clicking in this and like do it a little bit at a time over the next few weeks. And then but also that won't like get in the way of me actually testing the game. I mean, actually like making the game. Hopefully, theoretically. I definitely didn't realize like how big of an undertaking I was kind of committing myself to when I started making this, but at this point I feel like kind of gotta see the whole thing through. But I don't know, I think every game developer kind of knows the feeling of I'm partway through the game I'm working on, but now I have an idea for like another game. So I've like had, I don't know, I've been playing a lot of the new Luminas that came out, which is like a puzzle game like Tetris, and I don't like it as much as Tetris, so I've been playing a lot of Tetris. I've also been thinking about like other puzzle games I want to make. I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta finish the game I'm working on right now before I can start making new puzzle games. Yeah, the music was something I implemented to make a trailer, because I don't really make music myself, so I was like, okay, I'll make some notes and then have it sort of randomize the notes and make something that sort of resembles music. And it worked out well enough that I was like, you know what, I'll actually keep that in the game. Because it kind of gets you into this mood of like I want to click along to the beat. But also, I think I'm going to like add more to that, so that there are different drum beats and different bass lines, and like it can change scale. So hearing this same music, this is the only thing you're going to be hearing for over 100 hours. That would probably get very stale and very annoying by the time. I mean, by 10 hours it would probably get annoying. So, yeah. Did the music myself is, like, technically yes, but not exactly. It, randomly generates it as you play. Like, you click and it plays a random note. And I just use that same premise. Like, the drums are, like, 5 or 6 or so different beats I made in like an 8-bit sound generator, except you can tell it like it is doing like a drum kick on the first and third note, and then like a hi-hat on the second and fourth note. So like I did that manually, but it's all like done in programming and code. And then the bass comes in and it just is doing the same idea here, except like an octave lower. So yeah, I mean I made the music, but I didn't like compose the music. But like something I'm going to do is have like more drum loops, more bass lines that will still follow the same idea of it's like randomly choosing the notes, but just different things it can do. I've tried to get into music creation, but it's like, it's just so... It's a huge rabbit hole before you can even get something that sounds kind of good. Especially if you don't have like, I don't know, something to play it on, like a MIDI piano. Oh, here we go. 3, 2, 3. But like going in and like having to do every note individually, and then I don't know, there's like for my last game I worked on, I had like music people working on it, and I would say like, yeah, just make something that sounds kind of okay. And like I do not have very high expectations for the music. It just needs to sound decent. And they'd come back and like have these things with like melodies and counter melodies and like counter bass lines, and I don't know all the music terminology, but it's just like, how did you know to put a note there? Like, how did you know to put this specific note there so that it would sound so much better? Because like I could maybe come up with like the melody, but like I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you put like one note there that just makes it sound so much better. And obviously the answer is just through practice and through, you know, doing it a lot. Like there are, you know, people would play this game and be like, how did you know to like do everything I did to make clicking a button feel good? And it's because I have made games before, and I have done a lot of experimenting with like what feels good in games. Or I don't know, like people doing art, it's like, how did you know to put a line there? Like, I see what the line does, but it just wouldn't have occurred to me to put a line there. But putting a line there brings the whole thing together and makes it look better. I don't know. It is just practice. But practice is annoying, and you only have so much time and so much energy to get good at so many things. And why would I put the time and energy into getting good at things that are, you know, productive when I could instead put that time into getting good at Marvel Rivals. Though in that case, I've put the time into getting good at it, and I'm still not good at it, so... that's just wasted time, I guess. Yeah, I don't really play many competitive games because they make me angry. It's honestly, I think, kind of the same reason I can't get into like Dark Souls and roguelikes. And it's like, I don't like games where you lose. And like, there are some games where you're just going to lose, and in games that are like really hard, you're going to lose. And also in games, you know, in competitive games, you are going to lose. You're statistically going to lose. Like, even if you're good at the game, you're going to lose about half the time. So I just like don't play competitive games a lot, but sometimes I'll get into one and just kind of, I don't know. Like Marvel Rivals, I really got into. Street Fighter, I'll get into now and then. Like fighting games, occasionally one just comes out, it just kind of clicks with me as a character I really like, and I'm like, I want to play that character, and there's not much more to do aside from compete. So we'll like go and compete. Unfortunately, the characters I really like usually wind up being kind of low tier, so it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go try to compete with this character who just isn't very good, but this character is the only reason I'm playing this game, so I'm not gonna switch to a different character who's actually good. Yeah, and it's hard to like see that improvement, especially in like competitive, like ranked matches, because your rank goes up. So like if you are winning more than 50%, your rank goes up, and oh, now you're still winning 50%. You're still losing 50%. So I don't know. And then if you're like, you know, rank up, like sometimes you'll rank up higher than you should be, and now you're losing more than 50%. It's like, well, that feels bad. Like if I'm lower than I should be, I win 50% until I'm winning 50%. But if I'm higher than I should be, I lose more than 50%. And it's like, oh, well, it just feels bad to play this game now. I don't know. I do think it's cool when you like play a game and then you like return to areas that you remember struggling with, and then you're like, oh, I'm not struggling with this time. Or not necessarily return to areas, like games where you get upgrades and your character's better and you can just run through that early area because your character is more powerful. So that is very satisfying and a big reason I like, for example, Metroid games. But I mean games where, you know, you're playing it again and you remember, like, I really struggled with this area, and then you just fly through that area and you're like, oh, I can see where I am better at this game than I used to be. Like when I first played Tetris Effect, I was fairly okay at Tetris, but there were places where I really struggled in like the main journey mode. But now like I can just sit down and play through the entire journey mode and not even come close to losing on normal mode. I haven't sat down and kind of gotten good enough to beat it on hard mode, but it gets going really fast on normal mode sometimes. Like those blocks just like go and then yeah. But like I don't know, it is real. Like I play that game and I'm like, oh, I am tangibly better at this game than I used to be, and that feels good. And I think that's honestly part of the reason I've been struggling to get into Lumines, is that like the team who did Tetris Effect did a different puzzle game called Lumines like many years ago, and they've been kind of iterating on it, and they released like a new version that's sort of a spiritual successor to Tetris Effect. And so I've been like trying to force myself to kind of learn to play Lumines because I love Tetris Effect. And it's just kind of like, I feel like I'm going back to square one, where I'm not, like in Tetris, I can see the matrix, sort of, like I see how the game works. I'm not even really thinking when I play it. And in Lumines, I have to think. And so it is frustrating to be like, I'm going from a puzzle game that I am pretty decent at to one that I am not good at. But also, Tetris is just better. Like, no shade or whatever to every other falling block puzzle game, but like, Tetris is just the best one. It's still the best one. It's, I was actually playing, they released a thing called Tetris Forever, and it's sort of a game, but also sort of like an interactive museum about the history of Tetris. And like one of the, like they do interviews with, you know, the people involved in the history of Tetris, like especially Alexei Pajitnov, who made Tetris. And there's like one interview where he's like, yeah, you know, I made this game and I kind of know that I'm never going to make anything this good again. And I feel like that probably came from, I don't know, like a realization over time that because he made a few more puzzle games. Like, he did one called Weltris, which was it was like Tetris, but there are 4 walls, and they're dropping down a well. And it was interesting. He did one called Hatris, which was like Tetris, but you're putting hats on people and trying to match the hats, and it's like, they're alright, but they're not Tetris. I feel like this guy probably at some point was like, oh man, I made the perfect video game on my first try, and I am never going to make a game that is as good as that again. Which is, I don't know. But like, nobody has made a game that is as good as Tetris. And just like there are a lot of good puzzle games. I mean, Dr. Mario, Tetris Attack, Puyo Puyo. I mean, Lumines is good. Meteos is really good. They need to bring back Meteos. But, like, none of them are as good as Tetris. that's kind of my... I don't expect to make a puzzle game as good as Tetris, but I, like, have been sort of looking at, like, why Tetris is so much better than everything, and sort of trying to figure out, like, what... I don't know. What is it? I feel like a big thing is that most puzzle games focus on, like, matching colors or matching shapes, but Tetris is more of a, like, geometric game. It's about fitting shapes into other shapes. So I was trying to think about, like, other ways that could be done. And I have a few thoughts, but I, like, would need to prototype them to see if, like, any of them actually are good or fun. So, yeah, it's just I had a therapist I went to who, like, he knew I was, like, really into video games, and he always had this story about how he was like, oh yeah, I tried playing Tetris once, and then I got a score of 1, and that was the last time, and the only time I've ever played a video game, and I don't know, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you play the game for the first time, and you haven't, like, learned the strategies and sort of internalized sort of how it works, I don't know, like, a lot of Tetris is just feeling the game, right? So if you haven't, like, put into the time to just feel the game, you're not going to be very good at it. Yeah, Puyo Puyo, I am terrible at Puyo Puyo, because I just haven't, like, put in the time to learn the patterns and stuff. The Puyo Puyo is just like, you gotta do you gotta set up these chain reactions, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm not really thinking that far ahead, man. But then when I play Tetris, like, I've played it enough that I am kind of thinking that far ahead. Not super far ahead, but I am sort of, like, have an idea of how I should set things up, and it's just sort of, like, if I put more time into Puyo Puyo, I'd probably learn how to do that. I don't know. Okay, so this room is interesting because I need to, like, rework something about these, but, like, all 4 of these identical hallways, they are all technically one room, so I need to, like, come back and more clearly communicate that, or just connect them. And I got I saw online there was a Jeff plushie, like Jeff from Marvel. I was so excited, and I was like, hell yeah. I ordered it, and it arrived, and I looked on the tag, and it's like I guess Funko makes plushies now. I feel like they cheated. They tricked me into buying a Funko, and I feel dirty. I saw that they're like afraid they're going to go bankrupt. I'm like, how does that even happen? They just own all of the like fandom shops. Like, you go to GameStop, and for the past, I don't know, 10 years, they've been like 90% Funko. Maybe not 90%, but a significant amount. Like, I don't know. Did people just stop buying Funkos, but they kept making them? I assumed that GameStop had so many Funkos, because they were, like, selling well. But maybe I was mistaken. Let's see. One more. Then I also saw the... Yeah, overproduction, I guess that would do it, yeah. Because, like, the whole Funko thing was that, like, everyone gets a Funko. So they were just, like, making Funkos of everything, but... And it turns out that... not everything sells. Especially when it's, like... I don't know. All just the one... Like a Funko, I don't know, it feels like sort of a, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. Like, if you have a favorite character who doesn't really get merch, and then they get a Funko, it's like, sort of this monkey's paw thing, I guess. Like, well, my favorite character got merch, but it's a Funko. I will say that at least Jeff has, like, a, Sabrina Carpenter Funko. I will say that, like, Jeff at least has a design that, like, fits the Funko well enough that I didn't even notice it was a Funko. Oh, here we go. There we go. So... Okay, 11,000. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours. Oh, 15% drop of sales that went in. 200 billion in debt. Yeah. How do you even get 200 billion in debt? Like, I don't know. Don't spend 200 billion that you don't have. I wish I could spend 200 billion that I didn't have. Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, like, 1 billion is just like an unfathomable number of... It's just an unfathomable number. And especially, like, as I've been making this game, like, those very big numbers have become more tangibly large. Because it's just, like, I'm thinking about the difference between pressing 1,000 buttons, and pressing 1 million buttons. Is, you know, 1,000 times that. And that's just, like, such an astronomical difference. Like, it is just tangibly, I can make 1,000 buttons real quick. I can click 1,000 buttons in 10 minutes. But it's gonna take me a long time to finish making 1 million buttons. And just kind of thinking about the difference there between 1,000 and 1 million is the same as the difference between 1,000 and a million and a billion. And it's just like, a billion is just an incomprehensible number. So, I don't know. Yeah, if you can... I get, I guess, that, like, these companies need to have some debt, but it just feels like I don't know, so many of these companies, like, are just bad at, like, financial planning. Because it's like, you look at Nintendo and it's like, they have made a loss, like, twice. At their worst time, they made a loss on the Wii U. And then they kind of, like, rethought their business, I guess, to make sure, like, it didn't, I don't know, like, they kind of plan around what they know they can make, what they're pretty sure they can make, and sort of have backup plans and stuff. And it's just kind of, all these other companies are just like, oh no, we need to make infinite money, like, we need to have this gamble where either we make infinite money or we go extinct. And it's just, I don't know, like, they take for granted the, okay, we can have a steady, reliable stream of income, and then that can provide us, like, chances to, like, opportunities to take chances. But instead they look at the steady, reliable stream of income and they're like, how can we turn this into infinite money? And yeah, it's just kind of financially irresponsible. Like, I don't know, like, you think about, like, I feel like what Disney's done in recent years with, like, Marvel and Star Wars, where they had just the golden geese, and they milked the geese. I guess you can't milk geese, but you know what I mean. Like, instead of being like, okay, we have these reliable franchises that can make money, it's like, how can we make all of the money? And then, yeah, their attempt to make all of the money kind of wore people out on those. So now they don't make much money anymore, and they're both sort of scrambling to get relevance back. So So, like, yeah, I guess the Funko just expanded too much. I mean, like I said, they're making plushies. I didn't realize they were making plushies, but I guess they tried to make a game, and they're trying to do, like, all of this stuff. Like, they really want to be Lego, I think. And they overextended, it seems. Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo's got, like, a bunch of things going on. But, like, I mean, kind of the thing with Nintendo is, like, they found... I think Nintendo is interesting because, like, they are expanding, but they sort of, like, found a stable footing before they expanded, and the expansion was part of making that footing more stable. Like, they're expanding into movies and theme parks and stuff, but, like, it's part of, okay, we need to make our brand stronger, we need to make our characters stronger, because, like, okay, not... You know, kids today, a lot of them are growing up playing Minecraft and Roblox. They're not growing up playing Mario and Pokemon. So, like, we need, like, more ways to outreach and expand our brand. But it wasn't like, we're putting all of our money into this Mario movie. And... Oh. Alright. See ya, Finley. Like, if the Mario movie had flopped, it would have been bad, but it wouldn't have been like, oh, we are totally screwed and we're going out of business. It would have been like, okay, maybe we're gonna back off the whole movie stuff for another 20 years. Or was it 30 years? try again in 2050. Okay, so that is this area. Alright, 12,000 buttons, 2 hours. That is actually shockingly, like, keeping up with the 1,000 per 10 minutes. That was just like a quick estimate, but it has stayed pretty reliable. Oh, we're back here. Alright, I think I'm gonna do 2 more rooms, and then call it a night. The other thing is, like, companies that kind of have the brands and then don't even really bother trying to, like, keep the brands up. Like, it's very easy to compare Nintendo to Sony, because Sony has a lot of first-party IPs that they could keep up, but they just kind of sort of make a half-assed effort here and there, and I don't know, it's weird. Because they've done some movies and shows and stuff, but then, like, the game series will disappear for decades, and they just kind of don't care, and then they reach a point where they're like, oh, hey, we need stronger brands, we don't have anything, so let's make Concord. But they have, you know, Jak and Daxter and Ape Escape and, like, Twisted Metal. The show has been successful, but there's no game to go along with the show. Okay, I made this room to be annoying, and I'm kind of, like, reaching this point where, like, oh no, now I have to make it. I have to play it. It's like, I can confirm this room is annoying. It's like that, you know, the meme about me reaping versus me sowing. Like, oh yeah, I'm devilishly making this room thinking about how the players are going to suffer, and then I actually have to test it. And then I have to suffer. Okay, I need to do something. I don't know. Kind of wiggle my fingers a bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big thing with Sony and Microsoft, actually, is that, like, since the gaming division is only part of a bigger company, like, it's not as high priority. Like, Nintendo is like, we need to figure out how to make video games profitable, and if they aren't profitable, that's just, we don't have a business, whereas Sony is like, this is just part of our whole thing. But at the same time, it's like, when I see the executives at Microsoft and Sony come out and straight up say, like, oh no, we don't have these recognizable IP. It's like, well, because you haven't put in the legwork, man. People love Mario because it has been pretty consistently quality entertainment, and he didn't disappear for decades. Like, I don't know. Or even like Donkey Kong, who kind of does disappear for decades. It's just like, they did the work to make him an icon. Or Metroid. And they, like, even when they aren't making Donkey Kong and Metroid games, they're like establishing those IPs in some way. And you do feel like, look, you know, there's gonna be another Metroid game. Like, there's gonna be another F-Zero game eventually. There's probably gonna be another Kid Icarus game at some point. And in the meantime, you know, they're gonna show up in Smash Brothers. They're gonna get merch occasionally, or they're gonna like get, I don't know, icons and stuff. And Sony just kind of doesn't really do that much. Like when Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper and stuff showed up in like Astro Bot, it kind of felt like a graveyard and not a museum. And that's concerning. Okay, that's nothing. This is definitely an annoying room. What have I done? Alright, I think this is gonna be the last room, and I'm gonna call it a night. This room was funny because like when I first made it, I actually placed the doors like not only like these are all mostly fake doors. So like when I first made it, I placed them not only on the walls, but also tiled across the ceiling and on the ground. And then I kind of told the game to count how many buttons were in this room, and it was like, yeah, there's like 10, like I can't remember. I think it was over 10,000 buttons. And I was like, oh, that's probably too many for one room. Because I'm trying to keep it like, at the time I was going for like less than 2,000. But now because of some things that I've changed, like I figure I can get up to like about 3,000 buttons in each room. But 10,000 buttons is way too many. So yeah, it's only along the walls. I would be fascinated, like, when this game comes out, for somebody to try to do a 1 million buttons speed run, like literally a speed run where the category is clicking all the buttons. I would, you know, discourage it probably. But maybe like a marathon thing where they like a relay race. I don't know if that will actually happen. Like, I don't know if this game will reach the speedrunners. If anyone will be insane enough to actually try it, but it would be funny. Oh yeah, thanks for stopping by. Where can I see this article? And yeah, I do hope to show it off at more shows, but I'm not really sure. I don't know which ones are coming up. I'll keep an eye out. If I see one that's still accepting and one that I can make it to, I'll definitely try to show it off, because like the feedback and being able to see people actually play it was really helpful.
Okay. Two and a half hours, got up to 14,000 buttons. I think I'm gonna call it there for today. I don't know. I wanted to reach 20,000 buttons, but maybe it'll take more than 10 streams to do this whole thing. Or maybe I'll have a longer stream next time. I don't know. It's fine. But I think that went pretty well. Next time, I think
we're probably going to get to some of the more interesting rooms, because I've been sort of generally going in the order that I made rooms up to this point. And I think next time I'm just kind of gonna go, I don't know, try all the, honestly, I forgot which of these doors are real doors. So I guess we'll start in this room next time, and yeah, figure out where to go then. If anyone is still watching, thanks for joining.